Hi everyone, we are on day 4 of equations for the first unit. So what you have seen already is we've already done order of operations, we have done simplifying expressions, and now we're moving on and evaluating expressions, and now we're on to day 4, which is equations. So we're going to be doing equations all year long in geometry. So we will take algebraic properties like adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing with equations and applying them to equations for geometry. So this is just like a sample before we get started. So before we can actually apply our algebraic properties, we need to review it because it's been a while. So when we talk about equations, remember we want to balance that equation. So whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So if I have a problem with an addition property, the opposite of that is subtraction, okay? And vice versa. The same thing if I have a multiplication problem, the opposite of that is division. Now, when we get into these more intense problems, remember if we have distributive property, we also have combining like terms, okay? So there's some things at play. Again, we've been doing this in algebra, but again, it's been a while. So let's do a little review, okay? So the first one's a multiplication problem, okay? So multiplication problem, so what's the opposite of that? Division. So I'm gonna divide 5 to both sides and z equals -6. The second one, this looks like an addition problem, but let's think about it. How do we get rid of the -7? Well, we're going to be actually adding 7 to both sides. So be careful. What is the actual operation to get rid of that negative? It's like having like that negativity around. You want to get rid of it as soon as possible. We don't need that around. Okay, number 3 is a division problem. So what's the opposite of that? I'm going to multiply -4 to both sides. Remember to take the sign with you when it's a multiplication or division problem. Okay, so take that negative with you to the other side, which is +60. 2 negatives make a positive. A negative and a positive make a negative. Okay, the very last one. Again, think of the 19. How am I going to get rid of the 19 and balance it and put it on the other side? Well, I'm going to subtract it, 2 negatives. You're going to add and keep the negative. So now here are my answers for all of those problems, okay? Multi-step equations, remember you're going to do parentheses and combining like terms before you do the next steps. So again, whatever is attached to that variable, we're going to do that second, okay? So whatever is attached to that variable needs to happen second, and we'll get there, okay? So for number 5, there's no parentheses, there's no combining like terms, so we move now to adding and subtracting. So we have to get rid of this -15 by adding 15 to both sides, and that will become 45, and then I'll divide 3 to both sides, and h equals, what does h equal, guys? So h equals 15. Okay, so while I'm doing these, what I'd recommend is you working them out on your calculator, making sure you know what you're doing. Because again, if we're just writing down the answers, we're not really learning how to do it. If I am in the car with someone else, I am really not learning how to drive. I'm just along for the ride, okay? So same thing here. So first we're going to subtract by 10, and now what are we going to do? We're going to multiply by -2. Okay, we're going to get rid of that. So again, if you see parentheses, if you see fractions, you need to think to yourself, how do I get rid of that? Oh, I need to do the opposite, which is multiplying. So again, if you see this, that means it's a division problem and you need to multiply. Make sure to take that negativity with you to the other side. Now we've run into parentheses. 4 needs to hang out with both things on the inside. So 4w minus, okay, take that negative. 4 times 3 is 12. So you are multiplying that 4 to the w, and you're multiplying that 4 to the 3. Okay, so that's distributive property, okay, which is parentheses. That's a fancy way. That's how you give to both things. Okay, now what are we going to do? Well, I'm not going to get rid of the 4w just yet. I need to get rid of the 12. The 12 needs to go to the other side. So again, I'm moving things over so I can get the variable by itself. You know, I keep saying get rid of. It's like going through your clothes, getting rid of it. What do we have left that we actually wear? So 64 divided by 4. All right, number 8 is very sassy pants. It actually switches 3 and 2, which is very salty. So this 7 is actually attached to the x, okay? It's kind of like if I separated this, it would be kind of a hot mess express. And then that x, again, I'd have to deal with that and deal with fractions. We're trying to avoid that as much as possible. I know some people are very allergic to fractions. It's like, forget it. So I want to actually get rid of that 10 first by multiplying. And then I'm going to subtract 7 to both sides. So this kind of turns it on its head because the whole thing is a fraction. This sometimes happens. You've seen it in algebra, or hopefully you've seen it in algebra. Sometimes we block that out, but you definitely can handle it. So again, if the entire enchilada is together, okay, so that means that 4 is the closest thing to x, then again, you're going to get rid of that bottom number, okay? That's very different than from number 6, where not the whole thing is in the fraction, right? The 10 is very easily moved to the other side. Okay, number 9. Oh man, we have things that are like terms, right? It's like you having a class with a friend of yours. So 6 plus 1w, right, is 7w minus 28 equals 77. Okay, so that's called combining like terms, okay? CLT for short. Okay, so first I'm going to combine like terms and I'm going to move it to the other side. So I'm going to add 28 to the other side and then divide by 7. Okay, so W equals 15. All right, here we go. We're almost there. So we're going to distribute this one first, and then we're going to combine like terms. Get rid of the parentheses first. So 7x plus, not 7, not 2, but what is 7 times 2, which is 14. Okay, now what do you notice I can do? Okay, do you want to move the 14 over first, or do you want to combine like terms, the 7x and the 2x? What would you want to do? So you have 5x plus 14 equals 44. Okay, so 5x equals 44 minus 14. And then divide by 5 to both sides, and x equals 6. Okay? So those are the answers for the multi-step equations, and then we have our one-step equation. So think about when you're solving these, what do you have involved? Do you have parentheses? Do you have like terms? Or is it a simple, I move something over by adding and subtracting, or I move something over by multiplying or dividing? Okay, so applying equations to geometry, solve, okay? So triangles are going to be adding up to 180. Triangles just means that they have 3 sides, 1, 2, 3, and they also have 3 angles, 1, 2, 3, okay? So angles are these things on the inside, and the angles are going to add up to 180, okay? So we have 1x, and then I'm going to do 70 plus 60, which is 130, and that's going to equal 180. So it looks scary, it looks intimidating because you're like, what is happening, okay? But back in middle school, we definitely saw some geometry. So it's just been a while, and that's okay. We've got you, all right? So we're going to subtract 130 to both sides, and x is going to equal 50. So that's going to be that this angle right here is going to equal 50 degrees, okay? A quadrilateral is just something that has 4 sides, okay? And their angles add up to 360, okay? Anything with 4 sides, it doesn't matter what it looks like, those angles are going to add up to 360 degrees, okay? This box, it's been a while since you might have seen this. This box means that that angle is worth 90 degrees, okay? So how are we going to find this question mark? Well, we're going to add up these 3 numbers. So 90 plus 114 plus 86. Again, I would practice putting this in your calculator just so you are familiar with plugging things into calculators. That's how we get better at things. Again, that driving of the car, not going to get better unless I do it myself, okay? I'm not going to get better at basketball until I start shooting some hoops myself. Even though I love watching the NBA, or if I like watching football, I have to do it myself also if I want to get better, okay? All right, how many sides does this have again? Oh, this has 4. So 180 or 360. So this one is also 360 degrees, okay? So this says 17x. Is there any other x's? Doesn't look like it, okay? And now I'm going to add up 8, 66, 110, and 74. 8 plus 66 plus 74 plus 110. And that is 258, And what does it equal? Oh, how do I know this? Because it's a quadrilateral, 4 sides. So those mean that it has 4 angles, and those 4 angles add up to 180. Okay? If they don't add up to 180, it is not a quadrilateral. So that equals 102. How did I get 102? Again, by subtracting 258 to both sides and then dividing by 17. Many equations this year in geometry, so we are going to get used to it and you guys are going to rock it. And that x equals 6. So thank you so much for joining me on day 4. Good luck on your participation and your homework. Have a good day. Bye.